Hey everybody, it's WTF right here on the DJB Productions Network. Hit that subscribe button down below, hit the notification bell, leave us some comments, share the channel. We have a great show for you today. Let's talk to who we got on the show, which is Brandon Smith.
DJB Productions, what the fuck?
We got Val Thompson.
What the fuck?
We got Chrissy Pino.
What the fuck?
Guys, another edition of What the Fuck right here on the DJB Productions Network every Saturday. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you see when these shows are dropping. You can come right on air, jump on air, and we want to hear from you guys. So leave some comments, jump on air, that type of thing. Now, today is a pretty interesting show. Rose before hose. Is that still a thing? Is it still functional? Does it actually still make sense? And do we really care about it? That's what we're going to talk about today. Now, in a scenario where we used to say bros before hoes, and Brandon and I talked about this offline, and a lot of it had to do when we were in high school and stuff like that, where it's like, we're not going to let a girl get in between us as buddies, that type of thing. Now, I can tell you from experience that never happened. Okay, we always said it, but it never happened because a girl always got in the way of everybody. Not to say you women are like bad or something like that, but the guys, even as young, in my experience, never really followed that, even though they would preach that. Okay, in a sense, it's one of those things where it's like Brandon is inadvertently cock blocking me from banging his wife.
What the fuck?
What the fuck? It's like that's kind of like what it is. It's like in a sense, and I think
I'll tell you this right now. That's
good.
Like what I was saying, back in high school, so growing up, and as the younger crowd, you're like bros before hoes. You have your time with your boys, and you kind of do pick your boys more than any of the girls. And the girl is not gonna keep you from going out and doing what you want to do. You're young, right. You're living your life, and you're just learning everything too, all new experiences and stuff. And then now coming up towards our age now is like, you're in a serious relationship, if you will, or if you're married,
right.
Those say as you get older, then it's like it's bros before hoes, but that you made a decision to be with this girl, and and she's going to think, if you want to keep going out to the bars, and why do we go out to the bar and stuff to hook up with girls? Like, that's the dating scene. So if you have a boyfriend or something, and
that's
he's just
very
always
mature.
going out to the bar and stuff, it's very immature, and that's what ruins relationships all the time. And it's maybe not even if you do hook up with someone, but they you could just get hammered drunk, come home, and you're acting a fool all the time and not growing up and not being involved in a relationship, and you want to be out in town and stuff, and without them more than that just makes them feel unconfident.
The perception is,
and like if you get married and stuff and you have kids and you start to do that, and that's what you want to do more than actually stay home and take care of your responsibilities. That's just not going to fly with anyone. You don't make that commitment with a person and then go out and be a single person.
It comes down to a perception too.
Get that.
You said a good thing where you say you don't even have to actually be hooking up with anybody, but there's the perception is that you'd rather be out at a bar than be home with your family, is what the perception comes down to.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, well, I thank you for not cheating on me, but what am I, chopped liver? You don't like me? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I should I bow down? Oh, at least you didn't cheat on me. What I mean? Is that what these girls should have to do? Like, Pino, you don't stand for this.
Yeah, a lot of times
I just put her on a.
They want to go home. They want to watch a movie, a TV show, relax. A long day. You get older.
If Mark is off at 5, Mark is in by 6:15.
If you don't have anything planned or set up, a sporting event or a concert or something, it's just going out like every weekend or whatever. You worked all week. You barely saw each other anyways. Now it's your 2 days off, and then you don't want to be home. You don't want to fucking hang out. You don't want to take with your kids, whatever situation.
The reality is,
in high school, you could be like that.
Because that is like bravo on your head. Because most guys, they do want to be out. They want to be at the bar. It's like it's like this Peter Pan syndrome.
Yeah, and it's
Definitely.
like that's what ruins any relationship. I mean, and I had to get over that when I got married and stuff, and I was younger because I was a wild child. Was out every week, every night of the week through high school.
Right.
But
you give it up
still wanted
when you
to go,
make that commitment. You give it
hang
up
out with the friends. A lot of time, and a girl, she would just yell at me like, you know, you want to be out there, you want to be over here, what do you want to do? Pick one or the other. You want to hang out with Mike and Joe and John and Jake and everyone else, or do you want to be here? Like, you know, you pick. And that's what that's when you find out, like, the bros beef. And in high school, you had girlfriends, you almost, I know I lost relationships and stuff because I was just like, yo, you want me to just stay back? We're in high school. Like, I want to go out to the party and stuff, you know? And a lot of relationships were ended up breaking up because they wanted you to just come home and do nothing, watch TV, whatever, that stuff. And like, that's what I'm saying. When you were younger, it was okay. You're younger, you're experiencing, you're learning. After you get to a certain point and, you know, you're out in
what age would that be for a man?
When you're out in the real world, it almost pretty much starts at, like, I would say, you know, after, if you don't go to college, you're in work after high school or after college, whichever one.
Okay.
You know, I feel like if you're
mid-20s.
So by 26, you should be like, yo, no longer are we playing bros before hose, right?
That's where I think it kind of cuts off. And
I think honestly anybody, and I think honestly,
guys and people really do start growing up after 25. That's a big turning point.
Oh, I agree with that.
A man's life.
Definitely agree with that.
But let me tell you something. I think what we need to say too, though, is that I think everybody, in order to be functional in a relationship, I think they need to go through that bros before hoes process.
Yes.
So that they actually can see the good, the bad, and the ugly that comes with it. That way, when they are able to commit to somebody, they are able to know, well, if I go this way, this is what's going to happen more than likely. If I go that way, this is what's going to happen more than likely. They also are going to now find that, you know, they say bros before hoes. This woman is not a thing. She's not a plaything. She's not a car. She's not a
hoe. She's not
a no, I'm not going to go there. She might be a hoe.
Can we say what the fuck?
You know, well, I mean, but the thing is, it's one of those things where I think their perception will then be changed or different because of the experience. I think those who you see that, like, they don't really date that much and they get married and stuff like that, they all look like these fucking people you see on Netflix that are in, like, these documentaries that they kill people. You know, it's really what happens. I'm serious. Like they look like, you know, the farmer, the painting the farmer and his wife. You know, those people weren't wild. They didn't do bros before hoes. They're fucking weird. You know, so my point being is that I think you do have to live a little bit and live your life so that you can bring into that relationship more than what somebody else is. I think if you're thrown into, say, let's say, Pino, when did you have your first kid? How old were you?
I was 30.
30. Okay.
I was 30 also.
And I was too. Let's bring Pino back.
I was turning 30. So I was 29, but within like 4 months, I was 30.
We're going to do alternate timeline. Pino, right out of high school, gets with some dude and gets knocked up. And I hate to use that term, but we're just going to use it for the sake of this argument, right? So now she's at 18 years old, is pregnant and has a baby, right? And she keeps the baby, right? Pino now has trouble dating. Pino now has trouble growing into a woman, a functional woman, because she had to force herself to do responsible things that she really didn't have the inclination to do at this age in her life. And how many
might be another show, Dan.
It might be, but understand. But that's the scenario.
For
like,
girls, though, is it the same? Is it the girls over the guys? I didn't
see
that.
No, but the guys the same way. I think I think a guy in a
committed
scenario,
to a guy, they totally committed to a guy way more than a guy committed to a girl.
that's another thing I'm saying though. A guy who's also forced in that. This guy's 18 as well, right? He don't want to be. He might have been just saying, "I want to just play with this girl. I'm not looking to marry her or whatever." Now he's stuck with her for the rest of his life, whether he likes it or not. And how many times does that happen? And the kids are the ones that suffer from that. It's not
So
really
I
the
think
adult.
like I think like at that age, it shouldn't really. I mean, they're always going to choose their friends over
Yeah.
the relationship because you're 18, 19, 20. So and that's I'm just going to leave it at that because I know a lot of people that did get pregnant at 18
Mhm.
and kept their child, and that was their choice. And I don't even. That's just like a whole nother show. So
And that's where you learn. That's the
into
time
all
you
that,
learn when you're younger.
The hose before bros before hose whole
Mhm.
thing. I will say, at 30 years old, if you're still doing it, that's just gross.
Yeah.
Total turn off. At 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna
25,
keep. You're not gonna keep a girl.
25 guys are still kids. Like you're still running around chasing tail like a little puppy. You're like you don't know what you want at 25, but by 30, a man should be very well. You should know what you
Rounded.
want.
Yeah.
So at 30, it's kind of like, I'm not really into you. Like, you don't seem committed. By 40, and you haven't got a clue that it's your chick before your bro, then you got a serious problem. You got Peter Pan syndrome. Time for you to grow up. You're not growing up. Bye. Like that's kind of where.
Now the funny thing is, if you guys were listening to this, we were having some audio issues with Pino as she was talking. We got everything you said, but her voice was going in and out, kind of like really weird. And I think that's what guys at 18-year-olds are saying. Dude, I gotta go hang with my bros because this woman sounds like the girl from Charlie Brown, right? How about it? Pino was like,
You guys heard audio?
It's doing it right now.
We hear
that
everything you're saying.
sucks,
We hear everything you're saying. No, we hear everything you're saying, but your voice is changing because of the audio fluctuation in your microphone. But
Well, that's what the fuck.
Good? It's
Yeah.
like if you can though
Things
grow
work.
up with a group of friends and then actually always be hanging out, setting stuff up to
Mhm.
where you guys go out with the whole group of
Right.
friends. Now, and a guy would more likely like to do that than a girl would.
Right.
Most of the
And you know
time.
what I think though?
A girl going like maybe I don't want to hang out with the whole group, and then the guy's just like, hey,
Here's
let's
another
just-
thing to consider though too. Bros before hoes. I think that concept. Let's take it from the guy standpoint for a second. The bros, we're together and blah blah blah, and it's almost like it's a united front against the woman, in a sense, in a way, in a weird way. And I think that is something that, going back to what Pino just said, that when you're like 30, 35, 40, and you're like still like I don't know what to do, it's like you aren't going back to what I was saying.
then you end up
It's
alone
fair to say,
on your
to
own.
consider like maybe she's my partner, maybe she's got my best interest at heart more than they do, or something like that. Because when you think about it, in most cases your wife that you take on, stuff like that, will have your best interest before anybody else does, because that's if there's love there and it's a nice person, you know what I mean. So like I think the bros before hoes mentality when you're older, going back to what she said, I think it makes these guys not, you're like, what the fuck? You're 35 years old and you still can't settle down. Yeah, you know why? Because you kept bros before hoes going and didn't realize that, like, hey, dude, like I don't understand like why this is happening, blah blah blah. So like, and then they act like I don't understand why you don't understand.
Yeah.
Well, dude, you at this point in your life, you should understand that's not the enemy. That's if anything your teammate. That's your partner, and if anything, they're going to be there before, long after your bros are, and that's the God honest truth.
And the girls start just stepping back and leaving you without you even knowing, and then you're just kind of doing what you do anyways, and then you lose your girl and you're sitting there wondering why, and then you want her back so bad and that she never wants you back. And it, like, I've had friends who have done this and they're just sitting there like texting and like crazy, like, I don't understand you. What's wrong with you? You don't, you know, we always went out, you always hung out with my friends, and then all of a sudden now that you don't want to, well, maybe they didn't want to the whole time, but they did it for you. But then there's a time where it starts to be like, well, now that we've done that, okay, let's stop doing that. Let's start, you know, building something. And it's like the guy's still stuck in the, you know, kid zone, the Peter Pan, you know, I'm a kid for life, and
well, you know
they
what?
don't grow up.
Here's something that
And when
happened.
a female sees that, if you can hear
It's a
me,
turn
when
off
a female sees that or feels that,
for a girl.
we're not gonna. We might tell you once, twice, it's getting on our nerves. We don't. Eventually, we back off, and we're like, we can see that, and we're just like, there is no explanation, because if you're with someone for 4 months and you realize that that person has chosen his bros over you,
Right.
it's kind of like, and now it just sounds like I'm bitching at the guy. Well,
Right.
kind of like, you know what?
Yeah.
It's pissing him off. It's
I'm
pissing
done
her
with
off.
having grown up, especially if you're 40, 35, 40, 45.
Yeah.
If you're still doing that, we're not changing you. You know, a female can change a 25. Under 30, we could definitely start molding a little bit. And we do, just so you know that. However, at 40, oh
It
no,
happens
that's
without
you.
you knowing.
I'm not changing that.
Right.
So
Now, I mean, I'll tell you a quick story, and this was something. I mean, I've been with my wife now. We're married 21 years, a couple weeks from now, and we're together 26 years, right? So now I used to go out with my buddies, and we used to go out to the country line dancing and all that stuff like that. And one night we're at a party, and my wife was with me, and we weren't married at this point. We were just dating. We were still dating and stuff like that. And my buddy says to me, he goes, "You know what? Ever since you got with that girl, you haven't been the same." This is a classic bros before hoes scenario.
That's how they try to pull you back in.
And the way I responded, my wife got angry at first, but then realized when I explained why I said it this way, she said, "I get it now." I had to explain to him in a way that he would understand. So I said to him, "Well, dude, first of all, that girl, that's my fiance." I said, first of all. Secondly, I get laid when I want to get laid. You know, now that's the offensive thing. But my wife's like, "I get what you had to say that to him, because that's."
and you're hoping she's not faking it.
And I'm hoping she's not faking it. God forbid. You know. And I said, so, dude, I said, where you're running around, I got this all the time.
I go,
you know what I mean? So I had
there.
I had to say it in terms that he would understand. And he's like, "Oh, whatever," you know. And then eventually later on, like he's a guy that's been divorced twice and stuff like that.
Well,
and he
Dan, that
has to be able to do it.
took a strong character for you, because some guys, they wouldn't say that, and I commend you for saying that. So to you.
Yeah.
Because the way that you said that to him probably made him feel like this big, like very.
Yeah, and that was the point too. You're right. And
I'm glad you did that, because you were like, well, first of all, that's my fiance, or that's my girlfriend, and you stood up for her, and that shows great character. And a lot of guys, and you were confident with that, but a lot of guys, some guys wouldn't say that.
No, they'd be like, you know, rocking and rolling and whatnot, you know, whatever. Yeah, I got you, you know, knuckle it up.
Or they would like,
go nuts, go naked,
and you turned it around.
But that's the thing, and like it was one of those things where like he didn't even offend me, but I was like, don't go there with me, because I matured out of the single life before he did. And he was another one, going back to our last episode, he was a good-looking dude who felt he was a little entitled and that every girl should just follow over him, type of thing, right? So it was one of those things, and I'm like, that it goes back to what we said in the last episode about this, like, is going with a hot person really all it's cracked up to be? And I said, well, this guy, it probably is not. You know,
so you're like, bro, we're out right now. Let's just have a good time.
Just do it. Just hang it, dude, and whatever. Yeah. And like I said, he's divorced twice, and I'm still with my wife 26
It's not every weekend anymore.
So,
you know, it might be once a month, or when there's something going on where everyone gets together. But I can't, you know, be hanging out with you like we used to.
Right. Exactly.
Well, I do think you still need your friends. I think you need for both men and women. You need your girl time. guys,
sure.
you definitely do need your guy time, whether that's, once a month at, prior to COVID, once a month going to the
Yeah.
sporting event, or like if you have an Eagles game, Eagles tickets every year. I know guys that have guys weekend in the summertime.
Yeah.
My girlfriend, her boyfriend has guys weekend.
Yeah.
So she gets everybody together for that same weekend for girls. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I think if you're involved as a guy, you're involved in a club, like a pool league, or that's your thing. Like, that's fine. And I think that has to be communicated in the relationship, definitely. But you should be able to, like, Dan, you have DJing.
Yeah.
We all have this going on. So, I have different clubs and organizations that I'm involved in.
And you know what another thing is, not to cut you, because you're making a lot of great points here, but another thing that comes from bros before hoes is the lack of trust or security that the guy has with his wife. Now, and I can say this wholeheartedly from experience, I'm a flirt. Val knows me very, very long. Pino knows me very long. I'm a flirt. I'll flirt right in front of my wife. I don't care. That's just the way I am. That's my personality. Right or wrong? I mean, how about it? Am I right?
The same way.
So, and everybody like this guy's tall. Brandon likes NASCAR. Dan flirts with all wives. This is what happens. This is like the pastime that it is, right? So, my friends,
social butterfly over there, Dan.
Right? My friends are like, whatever. Dan's trying to hit on my wife. Whatever. Let him do it. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At this point, whatever. But like, there's guys that we know, that Pino and I know personally, where I know the wife longer than I know him, and because the wife and I flirt all the time, he is insanely jealous. Now, I am not sleeping with anybody other than my wife, but because I flirt with his wife and stuff, and have for a good 30 years, because that's how long I know her, he sits there and gets insanely jealous whenever I'm around her and thinks that something's starting to happen or something's trying to happen and blah, blah, blah. And she's smirking because she knows exactly what I'm talking about. And, but now she's thinking, do I know who he's talking about? Yeah, you do know what I'm talking about. And,
me?
Yeah,
you
know exactly what I'm talking about.
He flirts too with people. So
and he does.
I don't see the same thing you're saying. So,
but you're right. He does. Yeah. He does, doesn't he? Right.
So,
but like I've had comments laid out to me where it's like, not like, hey, don't flirt with my wife or nothing like that, but like comments like, oh yeah, is she hot? Like where you're instigating because you're mad that I'm flirting with your wife, and I'm like, dude, if your wife comes at me, I mean, I don't blame her. But I'm like,
there's that confidence.
The confidence comes in, and you're like, oh shit.
There's that cocky, confident DJ style.
Yeah, that guy comes out as soon as you hit me up with that, dude. That guy's the one that comes out, and I'm like, I'm sorry for your loss, but whatever it is. At least I know she knows where she lives. You know what I mean? It's like but that's the kind of thing that happens with bros before hoes too. Is that the person, my wife? I could flirt with everybody and their brother and their sister, and she'll be like, whatever, my husband's coming up. Because she knows our relationship, right? I think you and Mark know each other so well that you're like, Mark's coming home. Whatever. You know what I mean?
That's he ain't going nowhere.
Right.
I mean, he can go, but where's he going? He's going with dad. That's what he's going. You asked that question earlier, like, is he out of the bar?
He knows. Yeah.
But he does go to his father's a lot, and his brother is there and stuff. So that has had some issues, only because he was there a lot, and I was like, you're not.
Pino's like, I'll set you up on Tinder.
It is his family, it's his dad, and it's not like he's inconsiderate. It's like kind of like, dude, like, how about 3 nights out of the week you go to your dad and visit your dad? I want you to visit your dad and your brother and stuff, but like, it was like almost every night. I'm like, do you not want to come home? Because I'm with kids like all day long. Like, I need a break.
That perception thing of saying like, hey, what? I'm not good enough. You don't want to be with me.
You want that support, that time together, be there together, take care of the kids, family time.
Right. Somebody's echoing. We got
That
some echo
seems
in
like
there.
to me more like trying to get out of the house because it's just too much. Kids are too much. Work was too much, and just a time.
Yeah.
There's always those times when you are married too, where it just gets too much. You want to do different things and you want to get out. But that is one of the best things to do,
Well-
to go to your family's house, not out with friends into a bar, because
Yeah.
you're getting some time, relaxed time away from everything and everyone, but you're not going out getting hammered or going with the bros and
Yeah.
coming home smashed. Like, I
I think in
No,
closing,
he's not doing that.
I think
With
in
the
closing,
pandemic, I'm not working. I'm out of my job since last March, so I work at night. And I think he just was like going. I mean, he was just going to his dad's, but it was becoming like every night, and it was becoming an issue when it's like 4 months now, and you're just
you
like
were missing, and
hanging
you
out
were
with your
missing
dad,
it.
not coming home to like
yeah,
9
but I
o'clock
think
at night.
Dad Bros
And I'm with kids, I
outweigh.
don't have that outlet. Like I
You
would go to
know-
work at night, he would come home.
But Dad
That's
Bros
another
outweigh-
episode. Family
time is
before
important. Going, whether it's your family, like your other family house, like your mother, your father, or with your friends.
Yeah.
So
Dad
the
Bros
family in the
outweigh
unit
friend
is
bros.
important regardless.
Dad Bros outweigh friend bros. I'll tell you that right off the bat.
It does.
100%.
I know.
100%. So shut up, Pino. You let that man go to see his father.
He does.
Don't say don't, because you don't want him father saying, "Oh, did she let you come out?" Oh.
Because then you're gonna regret that.
No.
Then he's gonna.
Don't you want meatballs to go by?
I just think that family time is important.
And then he'll resent you for not letting you go see his family. But he
Right.
doesn't have to go all the time.
Right.
With kids is important regardless.
Well, I think what we've deciphered or here, at least in what we have in an opinion format said, is that bros before hoes causes a lot more damage than it does unity. Because I think
Yes.
the whole point of bros before hoes was a unity amongst the men. But at the end of the day, you're not marrying that guy.
So we need like
You're
19 to
marrying a woman. You're not
25
going to
year olds to
family
watch
that
this
guy.
episode.
Yeah.
Probably learn something.
Happy wife, happy life. That's what I say.
Yeah. Or you know what? I'll just go deaf. I'm deaf. I don't care if she's happy or not. I only hear it. I'm like, I just watch TV. I sit there, my hands folded like this, and I watch cartoons. I don't fucking care. I don't care. Be miserable. I don't fucking give a shit. They said to me,
That's good, Tim. That's great. That's good. I'll be happy.
I had a friend of mine who's gay, and he said, "What do you feel about gay marriage?" I said, "Everybody's got the right to be miserable. Every fucking person has the right to be miserable. So you go for it. Marry everybody. I don't care, guys. What a great show! Hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the notification bell. Leave some comments. What do you think about bros before hoes? Is this something that you use as your mantra, as your MO in life, or is it something where you're like, dude, that's very dated and it's like not needed in today's society?
Time to grow up. is what I
Hopefully this
say.
helped every age group.
I hope it did.
19
I
to
really did.
25,
Because you know what?
25 to
I
30,
think
35,
Brandon and I
40.
work with young kids. We do. How about Brandon? We work with
Younger
young
guys,
kids,
younger kids.
and they do not think the same way we do.
No, and
They don't.
40 to 45, it's everybody could take something out of this.
Right. Brandon, how old are
Actually,
you? Brandon, how old are you?
38.
38. And I'll be 47. So I mean,
Mhm.
like I got almost 10 years on Brandon, but like me and Brandon think a lot more alike than some of the kids we work with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do. And
You just got
yeah.
It's responsibilities. It's
Mhm.
growing up. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And learning from your mistakes.
you wouldn't believe it how
I
how
love
good
that, Brandon. Great.
You wouldn't believe how good I look at almost 47. Let me bring myself big real quick. Look how good this is. Dude, I'll tell you. I don't need bros. This is all the bros I need right here.
Take care of number one first.
That's true. Take care of number one first, and that is while you're doing
Everybody
number
else
two.
around you could be-
While you're doing number two, take care of number
while
one.
you're doing number two.
Guys, for Brandon, for Pino, and for Val, my name is Danny J. Until next time, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck, guys? Bye.
Peace.